So the model village was set up in 1929 by our founder, a gentleman called Roland Callingham. And it was really developed from his love of model railways. And there's a very famous story that kind of says that Mrs. Callingham had had enough of the ever expanding model railway that was developing in their house. And so very calmly suggested that either the railway went outside or she wouldn't be around for much longer.
You're listening to Come Here, the podcast for and about heritage attractions, where you can discover somewhere worth visiting. I'm your host, Dr. Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist with a background in archaeology, specialising in voiceover for the heritage sector. Each week, I chat to someone from a different museum, historic site, gallery or cultural space about why you should visit, and exactly what you can expect when you get there. Sophie Comas is the marketing manager of Bekonscot Model Village and Railway, which is located in Beaconsfield, Buckinghamshire. Bekonscot is actually the oldest model village in the world. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Sophie.
Hi Liz, good afternoon. Nice to see you this afternoon.
Can you introduce yourself and tell me what your involvement is with the Bekonscot Model Village?
Absolutely, Liz. So my name is Sophie Comas and I'm the marketing manager of Bekonscot Model Village and Railway. We are based in Beaconsfield in Buckinghamshire, ideally located right on the M40, M25 and all kind of major roads around there. And it is the most wonderful family adventure and a beautiful, lovely family afternoon out.
So what is it that's special about this particular model village?
So the model village was set up in 1929 by our founder, a gentleman called Roland Callingham. And it was really developed from his love of model railways. And there's a very famous story that kind of says that Mrs. Callingham had had enough of the ever expanding model railway that was developing in their house. And so very calmly suggested that either the railway went outside or she wouldn't be around for much longer. And really, that was the start and that was the beginning of everything. And one of the things that I think is so special about Bekonscot is that it really maintains and holds on to the village as it was in its very beginning. So the village is now reflective of 1930s rural English life. You have all kinds of different scenes. You've got a coal miner waving at you. You've got a windmill. There's people rowing on the lake. There's a race happening at the races. There's all kinds of different things going on. Kids at school. There's a house on fire. Lots of things going on. And it's just this beautiful miniature village which kids absolutely love.
Yeah. And is it based on a real place at all, or is it just a fantasy place?
So it is a fantasy place, but interestingly the name is a combination of Beaconsfield and Ascot, which is, so the place is located in Beaconsfield and our founder Roland Cullingham was from Ascot, so I think that's where the name came from originally, merging the two places together.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the oldest ones, isn't it?
It is. It's the oldest model village in the world.
That's amazing. So how many visitors do you get in a year, would you say?
Oh gosh, that's kind of an ever changing number. But we've had millions of visitors over the year, people coming to Bekonscot and to enjoy us. I mean, we have our 100-year anniversary coming up in the next couple of years. So you can imagine there's lots of people that have been to see us in that time.
Yeah. And what do people say that they like most about it?
I think one of the things that really comes about is it's very much an experience which is for explorers young and old. So people from sort of 2 years or even younger, right the way through to kind of grandparents' age, really enjoy the model village and they get different things from it. So there's so much going on. We have a number of different villages, all with doing slightly different things, from Bekonscot Newtown to Splashing. There's all kind of different model villages as you go through. But I think one of the things that children in particular really like is that it's all on one level, all on their level. So Whereas often as children, they're kind of looking up at things and they've got a perspective that the things are much bigger than them and they're looking up at them. Actually, with Bekonscot, a lot of things are much more on their level. So if they're kind of on their knees and things, they can easily see into the models, see what's going on inside, and they can enjoy the trains whizzing by and hearing the choir singing in the church. So there's lots of really lovely things. But I think the fact that children can enjoy it at their level, plus the gardens are absolutely beautiful. They're immaculate. The village itself is set in 1.5 acres of gardens, and it changes throughout the season. So every time you go there, there's something different to see. And I think the kind of open green spaces is also what people really enjoy. So in a world where, if you think of some other theme parks, there's lots of noise and they're really loud and there's lots of kind of buzz with them. Actually, Bekonscot is very tranquil. It's a beautiful, lovely afternoon or a morning's adventure.
Yeah. So how big are the models?
That's quite. I want to show you with my hands, which is quite hard. But I guess some of the maybe bigger models like the cathedral or something like that possibly stands at about 1 metre high, maybe that sort of size. And then maybe you've got kind of varying different sizes depending upon the individual scenes. But one of the key features of the village is we've got a windmill right in the middle, and that's kind of on a mound. So it's really elevated and as part of the centre of the village, so you can see it from all different perspectives. But there's lots of different places and it's at different levels to explore.
And can you get right up close to the models?
You can. You can't touch them anymore because obviously coming up to nearly 100 years old for some of them, we need to make sure that we're preserving them. But you can get really close to them, and you can really see some of them have lots of things going on inside, or some of the shop windows have got displays and things, so you can see there lots of lovely detail which are in there. We've got some really talented model makers who continually kind of renovate and rejuvenate a lot of the scenes on a kind of a rotational basis. So Lorraine is one of our model makers, and she makes a lot of the individual people. And actually talking to her, it's fascinating the process that she goes through. So she'll do a whole lot of research. If she needs to create some people for a scene, she'll do a whole lot of research about what might have been going on within the 1930s and what kind of stances they might be taking, kind of thing. And then you've got our other model makers who focus more on the buildings, and again they just kind of work on a rotational basis to keep things looking fresh and looking nice.
Yeah, it must take quite a lot of work to keep on top of it, I should think.
Yes, there is a lot of work. It's a bit like the Severn Bridge, I think. Or the Golden Bridge, where you kind of start painting it one day and sort of work the way through and then come back the other side and then kind of just continually keep going. And I think it's fairly similar with Bekonscot, that there's always things to be working on and projects to be looking at, which is really good because it keeps all of the scenes fresh and interesting if people are coming back for repeat visits.
Yeah. Do you have a particular favourite building or scene within the village?
Oh, no, that's a question. I love the zoo. It's a real 1930s style zoo. So obviously we know a lot more than people would have done in the 1930s. So, it maybe is different to zoos of today. But what I love about it is you've got a chimps tea party going on. You've got the bird aviary. And there's lots of lovely displays of all of the animals on site, which is great.
Yeah. And how does it work when people arrive? Is there a set route around the site, or are people free to wander?
So people can wander. There is a kind of a natural path that takes you around the whole village, so you can experience everything. So as you come into the entrance, we have a light railway, and actually that's a lovely place to start your experience. That if you start on the light railway, it just gives you a really lovely intro to the village. You start to see a glimpse of what you might expect to see on your afternoon of discovery or your morning of discovery. So that's a really nice place to start. And then as you come into the main entrance of the village, you've got the circus as you come in. And then the path takes you on a natural pathway all the way around. Of course, you can go around more than once. You don't just have to go around once. And I think actually for those who visit us regularly, you always see something different. So the flowers are always different. There's always a new scene that's popped up, or somebody might have moved around, or maybe you now see something that you hadn't seen the first time you visited. So there's lots of things to discover. And one of my other favourite things is we've got quite a lot of shop pun names. So, for example, we've got Chris P. Lettuce, the greengrocer. We've got Dan D. Lyon, the florist, Lee Key, the plumber. So that's always a good one. And Hakes and Payne's chemist. So it's just a couple of ones to watch out for if any of your listeners visit us soon. But there's lots more. There's about 20 or 30 of them. So there's lots of them to pick up and discover around the village.
Yeah. Do you have like quiz sheets and things for people to go and find different things around the village?
Yeah, so this year what we've started to do is where we have kind of, in particular around the school holidays, where we have a lot more school-aged children visit us, although we do have kind of toddlers and toddler takeover during term time, which is always really popular. But yes, we do now have a leaflet that people can use to spot things as they go around. And we sometimes have, if we've got a particular campaign running, so like last year we had an exhibition from the National Film and Television School, and we had mini models of all of the exhibits dotted around the village. So we created a quiz sheet which the children could go around and spot everybody throughout the village, and then go and see the life-size puppets in the exhibition. We had another one in October, another one for the festive season. So it does vary from time to time. But yes, we do have lots of quiz sheets and activity packs that the children can enjoy as well.
Yeah, tell me more about Toddler Takeover.
Oh, it's brilliant. So Toddler Takeover is in our education room. So included within their ticket, they can go and spend some time within the education room or the Norman Heaton room, which is another space that we have, depending upon if we have any schools in for the day. And essentially, it's every Monday morning. We get a whole load of toys out, a whole load of games out, and it's just a really nice space that the children can, once they've kind of perhaps walked around the village and had a good explore around things, they can have a bit of a play. We've also got an adventure playground, which has a pirate theme. So there's lots of things for children to do. They can blow off a bit of steam if they've been perhaps concentrating and focusing on things around the village. They can enjoy those afterwards as well.
Yeah. Tell me a bit more about the trains. What kind of trains do you have going around the village?
So we have a Gauge 1 model railway that is all around the village, and there's about 10 scale miles of track, which goes all the way around, all in between the different scenes and different villages, and it's brilliant. One thing I've really enjoyed doing is you stand in one space and then you just wait until lots of the trains go by, and they go from different directions and that sort of thing. We have a signal box, which is also on site. You can have a look through the window and see where all the trains are and see all of the levers and things inside. It's a good aspect to the village.
So have you had any famous or special visitors come to the site ever?
Well, actually, we have. So Bekonscot, because it is obviously, for those that are local and know the area of Beaconsfield, is actually located quite close to Windsor. So one of our most famous visitors was actually the Queen and the Queen Mother. So the Queen first came to visit us when, just before her 8th birthday, I think it was, she was brought by the Mother. So actually, I think she then visited Bekonscot a number of times, and I think the Queen Mother actually became quite friendly with Mrs. Callingham, as the story goes. So that's probably our most famous visitor. But in more recent times, we've also had some film crews that have visited us. So we had one of the episodes of Midsummer Murders that was filmed within the village. Somebody who's actually tied down. There's something about Gulliver in there. I have watched the episode. I do enjoy Midsummer Murders. So there was definitely a Gulliver's type theme running through that episode. But we've also had a number of visitors from Blue Peter, Bargain Hunt have also filmed on site, and Michael Portillo has also visited us as well, who obviously also shares a love of trains. Lots of visitors.
How accessible is the site for people who've got mobility issues?
Yeah, so the site's very accessible. And actually one of the things that we find is with children with additional needs, it's actually a really lovely space because it can help feed their imagination and their curiosity. but it's really open, it's really green, and it's quite a calm environment. So unlike other perhaps theme parks and things like that, where there's lots of noise and it's really crowded and there's lots of people and lots of kind of a bombardment of the senses, if you like, Bekonscot is a very calm environment. So it's very green. The pathways are quite wide. So apart from one elevated section, it's completely accessible for wheelchairs. We're part of the sunflower scheme. So if people need additional help or assistance, then they only have to ask. We want to make sure that all of our visitors are welcome to Bekonscot.
And can visitors bring their dogs too?
So unfortunately, we don't allow pets of any kind on site, with the exceptions of assistance dogs. Obviously, if you have a guide dog or something like that, then of course they would be welcome. But unfortunately, to make sure that everybody enjoys the village, we don't have space really for lots of dogs to be able to join us.
Yeah. Do you have a cafe? Can people buy refreshments there?
We do. And actually, the guys in the cafe are doing a great job this year. They're doing all sorts of seasonal menus. So we had hot cross buns in for Easter, which is really nice. We had mulled wine at Christmas and some more kind of festive treats and things to choose from. And they're very much focusing on trying to create menus that reflect the season and the campaigns that we have running. So coming up this year, we've obviously got the Football World Cup in June, and we're looking to try and see if we can create a seasonal menu that reflects that. So it's obviously in America, Canada, and Mexico, so looking to do something with those sort of themes. And then as we've got other campaigns that are running throughout the year, we're looking to evolve and just move the seasonal menu forward. So there'll always be a kind of a set level of fare and refreshments that you can enjoy, but then just really adding to that at certain times of the year as well.
And can people bring their own picnics too?
Yeah, they can. So we have the tea room inside where people can buy refreshments, hot and cold snacks, and as I mentioned, the seasonal menu. But then we also do have an outside picnic area as well, most of which is also covered. So if you want to bring a picnic or have a bit of both, get a hot drink from the cafe and then bring your picnic as well, then you're welcome to do that.
Yeah, so tell me something about the sort of special events that you have. I guess you do something for Christmas, do you?
We do indeed. Yes, we have a visit from the big man himself, comes to see us at Christmas time with his elves. But yeah, we do also have quite a packed seasonal events calendar, and we're looking to build on that this year as we move forward. So a couple of things that we've got coming up for the May Bank holidays. We have another exhibition from the National Film and Television School, who are based quite close to us in Beaconsfield. So both establishments are coming up for their 100th year anniversaries. So over recent times, we're developing a stronger partnership with the National Film and Television School. And this year, their puppet brief was to create circus puppets within the 1930s theme. So the model making students have all been given the brief to create puppets that might have been within the 1930s circus, and then create a kind of a bio and a persona around them. So to celebrate that, we've got quite a few things going on. That first May Bank holiday, we've got some circus acts coming in. We've also got a seasonal menu taking place. So that's going to be a really exciting weekend for us. Then the second May Bank holiday, we've got some birds of prey coming in. So again, all included within your entrance ticket. People can come and look at these beautiful birds. They can hold them for photographs if they wish to, and just learn a bit more about them. We've also got lots of other things lined up for the summer. So we have a magician that comes to see us quite regularly. He's brilliant. He's really clever. He just does kind of little shows as people are around. And the kids absolutely love watching the magic shows. It's brilliant. And then going into the kind of the winter season, we've got things going on at October half term, and also for the festive season. We're just kind of ironing out the full details of that programme, but definitely we'll be having a visit from Santa. And there's also lots of other kind of crafty things going on around that time as well. So watch this space, really.
How long does someone need to see everything at Bekonscot?
Yeah, so you can take as long or as little time as you like to wander around the village. I guess to allow sort of around 2.5 hours is a nice time of a morning or an afternoon. So you've got time to watch the trains, try and spot all of the things on the activity packs, maybe grab a refreshment. We've got a couple of rides, and we've got motorised boats, kind of remote control boats on site as well that people can enjoy. And of course, enjoy a train ride as well around the village, also just on the entrance. So there's lots to do, but about 2 hours, 2.5 hours is a good time to allow.
And are you open all year round? And what are your opening times?
Yeah, so we're not open all year round. We now are open for the main season, which will run until Sunday, the 1st of November. And then throughout November and December, we will be open just over the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the run up to the new year. We generally have a period of time during January and February where we are closed for maintenance, just to give the teams a chance to refresh everything, update some of the scenes, perhaps do a bit more. Sometimes we have slightly bigger building projects that need some attention and focus, so that's a perfect time to enable us to do that. And we're generally closed for about a 6-week period during January and February, so opening for February half term for the next season. So but yeah, very much in full swing at the moment for the 2026 season, open 7 days a week, from 10 to about 5:30.
And what's the cost of visiting?
So the ticket price for Bekonscot. So if you book online, you get 10% discount if you book at least 48 hours in advance. So the ticket prices are £15 per adult and £8.50 per child. And if you book 48 hours in advance, you get 10% off that price.
Worthwhile doing that then. And finally, Sophie, what do you love most about Bekonscot?
Oh, do you know what? I think there's something really special about Bekonscot. The passion of the team that works there shines through in everything that you see and experience there. For me, I think it's the combination of the village and the trains and the scenes and the detail and the care and attention that has gone into everything, into the experience itself. I think the passion of the team that works behind the scenes on everything really comes through in the experience that people enjoy when they come and see us.
Well, it sounds absolutely delightful, and I must come and visit. Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me, Liz. It's lovely to talk to you.
Thanks for listening to Come Here. If you know a heritage attraction that would love to be featured, or you have a suggestion for somewhere you'd like me to cover, I'd love to hear from you. To find my email address and find out more about me, pop to my website at lizdrury.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe, rate and review the show. It really helps other people to find it. See you next time, and come and discover somewhere else worth visiting.